Dear students of the e-commerce class. Diapositiva número 2. Welcome to Section 2, International E-commerce and Consumers Protection. In this second section, the legal aspects of electronic commerce will be addressed, both internationally and nationally. First, international legal instruments regulating electronic commerce will be examined. Second, we will study Colombian legislation. Diapositiva 3. At the international level, legal instruments have been established such as the UNCITRAL Model Law on Electronic Commerce, which consists of a set of rules that seek to establish an adequate legal framework for electronic commerce. One of the most important aspects of this act is functional equivalence, which states that electronic documents and messages have the same legal value as paper documents and messages. The United Nations Convention on the Use of Electronic Communications in International Contracts, which establishes rules for the use of electronic means in the conclusion of international contracts. The UNCITRAL Model Law on Electronic Signatures, which establishes rules for the use of electronic signatures in international contracts. On the other hand, Law 527 of 1999, Law 1480 of 2011, and Law 1581 of 2012 establish clear rules for conducting commercial transactions online. E-commerce, on the other hand, refers to the purchase and sale of goods and services through the internet. This has revolutionized the way companies operate, allowing them to reach a wider audience and offer customers more personalized and comfortable shopping experiences. E-commerce has also made it easier for small and medium-sized enterprises to enter the global market, as they no longer need a physical presence in a foreign country to sell their products or services. Therefore, the relationship between international trade and electronic commerce is natural, since both allow trading regardless of distances or borders. Therefore, in this course, it will be necessary to study not only aspects of electronic commerce, but also of international trade. The UNCITRAL Model Law on Electronic Commerce is a guide for the development of laws and regulations on electronic commerce at the national and international levels. It was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1996. The law establishes a legal framework for commercial transactions conducted by electronic means and addresses issues such as the formation and validity of electronic contracts, identification of parties, security of transactions, non-discrimination, technological neutrality, data message, and acknowledgement of receipt to determine the place and time of sending and receiving. Diapositiva 6. The UNCITRAL Model Law on Electronic Commerce promotes functional equivalence, which recognize electronic means as equivalent to physical means. These ensure that contracts and electronic documents have the same legal value as those made on paper, thus avoiding discrimination based on how they were created. According to Article 6, it is established that formal requirements can be met with electronic documents as long as they are accessible and preservable. Article 7 recognizes the functional equivalence of the United Nations Conventions on the Use of Electronic Communications in International Contracts is an international treaty adopted in 2005 that establishes uniform rules for the use of electronic communications in international contracts. The convention applies to any electronic communication between parties who have agreed to perform the contract using electronic means, either in whole or in part. The main objective of the convention is to provide a clear and predictable legal framework for the UNCITRAL Model Law on Electronic Signatures, adopted in 2001, seeks to establish a legal framework for the use of electronic signatures, ensuring their equivalence with handwritten signatures. This law defines different levels of electronic signature and its requirements. The most basic level is the simple electronic signature, which requires identification with the signatory and association with the data message. The intermediate level is the advanced. To finish the module, the 3 business models that predominate on the internet will be studied. These are B2B, business to business, B2C, business to consumer, and C2C, consumer to consumer.
Universidad Santo Tomás, institución vigilada por el Ministerio de Educación Nacional.